When the market gets a little bit boring, things like free mints and degen plays pop up a lot. Now this is what will keep us entertained, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down the pros and cons of these free mints and degen plays and what to kind of avoid and look out for when you're actually kind of engaging in essentially gambling at the casino of NFTs. Now, I'm going to be kind of interchanging free mint and degen play because a degen play for me will most likely be something that is almost free, or maybe a 0.01 or 0.02, something super low mint that is essentially like a free mint. So you're going to be moving in and out quite fast. So I will be interchanging the word free mint and degen play a lot, but I kind of mean the same thing. Now, what I kind of want to touch on first when we get down to a free mint and a free mint in the best sense possible is a project that is set up like a proper project. And I'm going to touch on Hell of a Party because they've recently dropped. And what they've actually done is they're set up like a full proper project and they're actually doing a free mint. So the idea is what they're going to do is they're going to sort of show what they're doing, prove what they're doing, and then they're going to be running off the secondary sales, and we can see 200 ETH worth of volume. Then we've also got something like Sushi Cats. This is kind of further along in that kind of free mint cycle, but where the activity might not be as much because they are a little bit slow when it comes down to the execution of their roadmap. And then we're going to touch on another part of a free mint when you kind of get the full-blown qualified team, know what they're doing, executing really well, and the free mint is a good way to kind of get this marketing hype. And I'm talking about Illogics. Now, Illogics, they have done a great job, 3,100 ETH worth of volume. And when it comes down to the activity, how they're working, the team is very engaged. You can see, look, the activity for something that's been out for a long time. It launched on the sort of 6th of April. So we're about a month and a half in and the volume is still kind of going super active. So when it comes down to a free mint, there are two kind of ways to think about a free mint. You have the free mint in a degen aspect, which is just an in and out kind of nothing, one and done. And then you've got the free mint, which is a project that actually wants to execute itself like a proper project. And it's using the free mint aspect as a marketing tool to then get themselves in front of people. And like I kind of broke down here, you've kind of got the varying degrees of them, and the more established and the more the project actually executes, the better it's actually going to run when it comes down to a free mint. Now, one characteristic of a free mint that I would like to show you is the fact that there will usually be a longer reveal period. The reason being is that it will keep the activity. So this is Hell of a Party. It will keep some of this activity moving a little bit more because as soon as there is a reveal, people will end up sort of offloading their less rare ones and kind of buying up some rare ones if they like it. So the idea of a free mint is they will usually mint out and then not reveal for up to a week or two afterwards because they want people to kind of be speculating, be trading, because that's how they actually make their money. They haven't made any money off the mint, they're making money off the secondary sales. So one characteristic of a free mint of a project that actually does want to raise some funds to actually execute will be a longer reveal period. Now, case in point, when it comes down to Sushi Cats, the same kind of thing. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It was almost a week and a day until the reveal. Then you can see the volume just drop off here. What I will point out here, so this is the period in which the sort of reveal hadn't happened, and then you've got this period after the reveal. So this is what will happen. So if you are using a kind of free mint kind of play and you do plan to flip it, it's best to flip it pre-reveal because what will usually happen is this aspect where you end up with just a downtrend afterwards happened. And it's not just and this is on Sushi Cats. Now if I actually pull over something like Illogics, which has performed quite strong, you can also see the exact same thing when it comes down to what they're doing. We can see that the reveal period here, then it kind of went down for a few days. Then what happened is they made some announcements, and this is where we started to get some of these highs up here, but on the way down. Once they make some announcements, some more volume comes in, it'll run back up. So that is one characteristic of a free mint that I'd like to kind of touch on. Now, the next kind of style of free mint is a degen free mint. Now, a degen free mint, and I'll interchange this with like another degen play, is something that is usually kind of just free. It's almost an instant reveal. It's spun up quite fast. It doesn't have much marketing presence around it. Now, what I'm going to touch on here, and these are some of sort of degen plays, free mints that I've kind of been across because this is the life that I lead as an NFT degen. Now, the coldest drop This was meant to be a sort of a 10,000 collection. They only kind of got around sort of 700 items. No volume traded because it's a free mint. So this, you're essentially going to pay gas for it. Nothing's happened with it, completely gone. Something like Sea Friends. I actually missed out on this and the idea is this is a variation of Gary V's V Friends, so Sea Friends. And the same thing here, when it comes down to volume traded, 53 ETH worth of volume traded, 10,000 items, the same kind of thing, almost an instant reveal when it comes down to it. So that is a kind of a Degen play that actually got some volume happening. Now, this next one, Kid Kongs. This thing, this is late December or early January, something like that. So yes, you can see here, this is sort of the 4th of January. So complete Degen play and then just dried off into nothing. Nothing ever happened with this project, but you can see that, like, looking at the volume, it's essentially trading for free. No one's actually buying this, no one's doing this. It's been months between transactions. Now, this is the realization of what actually happens when you actually get free mints and Degen plays. If you're new to the space, you're going to think that these are going to run up and be the next big hot thing. But what usually happens is people are in and out of these for a 3 or 4 hour period, and then it dies off and they move on to the next one. Another one we've got is Puppy Punks. Same kind of deal. I've got a bunch of these. These were a free mint or like a 0.01, like super low. Same kind of deal when you get to the activity section. Nothing's actually kind of happening on them. 8 days ago, 1 month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago. Croodles, a similar thing. This is the Doodles meta that was popping up in that kind of January period. The same kind of deal. We have a whole bunch of just kind of nothingness happening. But what I do want you to kind of take away from all of these points is that with a Degen play or a free mint, you really want to be in and out. This is not the kind of thing that you want to jump in and kind of hold on to and hope that it will kind of run up the next day, because you've essentially got that period to buy in and then don't leave the computer. Don't leave and go somewhere, because you will kind of miss it unless you kind of set an exit point or a sell point, because that's kind of what happens when it comes to these Degen plays and free mints. So where do Degen plays and these free mints come into the NFT ecosystem? Well, it usually happens off the back of a current meta or a current project that is popping. So right at the moment, Goblin Town is kind of running up and doing the rounds when it comes to projects that are crazy. And here you go, you've got Pixel Goblin Town. Same kind of deal, a free mint that was a kind of a Degen play. And when it comes down to the activity, it's only been out for around about 8 hours. It's still kind of moving a little bit, but then give this a day. So maybe sort of 12 hours to a day, and then that will kind of slow down. And what happens when we get around these kind of meta plays and things that are happening, you then get these Degen plays and free mints. And to kind of illustrate the point that these aren't really going anywhere, you can see here that it's got 221 followers with 0 people following. What usually happens is someone will come across this on Twitter or somewhere as a free mint or as a Degen play. It'll then get spread around alpha groups and kind of alpha chords, and people will then kind of jump in. It will then pop up the top of something like Icy Tools, Nansen, things like that. Then people will go, okay, cool, what is this? It looks like a Degen play or a free mint. Okay, we're going to jump in and try to ride it up. So now I'm going to break down how you should enter and exit a Degen play or free mint to ensure that you actually come out of it ahead. So let's go back into Pixel Goblin Town just to kind of show you how you can actually point these out. So what you would do is, if you've got the OpenSea link, what you'll do is you come down to this section and you will look for the items and see how many items are being created. Now ensure that you don't have buy now or any of these filters kind of on, because that will kind of restrict what you will actually be seeing. Now this is a very rudimentary way. I wouldn't actually do this myself. What I would do is I would look at them on Etherscan. Now what you can kind of do is you click on one of the items. You can then go down to details and then click on contract address. So what you would like to do is have a look and see if there are lots of this happening in the method statement, either mint or lots of transaction pending. This means that there are lots of people that are currently minting, or like sort of the transaction is pending for them at that current point in time. Now look, what you also need to do is you need to see how many are kind of minting or the transactions are pending relating to how big the collection is. Now what I kind of want to point out here is that you can see right here, it goes last 25 from 1,500 transactions. So this kind of shows you, okay, what's happening. What you might see is you might see a total of sort of 300 or 400 transactions, and then you'll go, okay, there are sort of 50 or 60 pending, and then you'll know it's moving very fast. Now, just so you can't find any information about how many are minting or what's actually happening, I'll show you actually how you can find that now by reading the contract. So you'll be on this page, you then go to the contract tab right here. What you then want to next click on is the read contract tab. Now, when you click on read contract, what you will usually see is a whole bunch of kind of things here. Look for something that says max supply. Now you can see here 4,444. So that shows you what the max supply would be of Pixel Goblin Town. So the idea is that very fast, if you do see something at the top of Icy Tools, you see something kind of doing the rounds on an alpha cord, you can then go in, have a look and see how fast it's moving on OpenSea if you've got that, or you can jump in onto Etherscan and then have a look and see how many are moving, what the max supply is. And just to show you that there is a little bit of money in this game, but not necessarily life-changing gains, what we're going to do is jump over onto Nansen and Pixel Goblin Town. We can see it was deployed 11 hours ago. And then when we head over to the profit leaderboard, what we can see here is that the top profit taker has made almost 0.3 ETH, so 0.2979. So it's not huge life-changing gains, but the fact is there are a lot of people here that have made between sort of 0.1 and 0.3 ETH worth of profit on this project. So the idea that there is money to be made in these Degen and free mint plays, but you do need to be very fast and savvy. It'll be very hard to kind of time the top, so you do need to kind of play within it and realize that you are most likely going to lose because you will be left holding the bag like a lot of other people. So that is what free mints and Degen plays are, how to kind of look out for them, how to kind of take advantage of them, and then hopefully make a little bit of money in what could be somewhat of a boring market situation. So hopefully you found value in this video. If you did, please consider hitting up that subscribe button, and while you're down there, also hit up the like button. As always, it's been a pleasure having you with me. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.